Hi, this is Lisa Guthrie, Washington 98133, and I'm in a brown and yellow building on the left-hand side, and I'm on the third floor, 329, and there has been a lot of gang activity, and there have been a lot of threats, and there are threats to come through the floor. Strong influence of Nazis as well as the other people that are in this building that are gang members, and a couple of them have been shouting insanely, like, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Slave threats, rape threats, mutilation threats, you name it. And the gang members think you're just going to take it and you're not going to tell anyone. Well, I'm telling. And, they're involved with a couple of the police in Seattle, but I'm still. So I'm going to go to bed shortly. I'm just going to leave the broadcast on it. It might not be that exciting, but this is my diet of what's happening to me. It's also a record and a way to videotape in case anybody breaks in, and then presto, if closing or something, then I've got a record of what happened. Suicide. So one of the latest threats, and they're playing a name Belva, which is a movie. They're playing suicide, and one of the prostitutes earlier, and I think it was Stephanie. She's an ugly white prostitute, and she goes to Elizabeth Gregory home, and she likes to beg in front of Dollar Tree on the avenue in University Avenue in the U District at about 43rd or so, and she was telling me I was going to quietly starve to death, along with the ugly black Nazi and one of the retardos. They have this place surveillance, and I have some water running, by the way, and the door open. But if I didn't, you'd be able to hear some of the bums talking about meals and when I can eat. And are they friends with me or anything? No. The door's blocked off, and it has a dresser in front of it, and it's in front of the door. Contact with these bums. So there are three sorts of things at 107 Aurora Avenue, North Seattle, Washington, 98133. One of them's threatening to cut off my ear, to have people bite off my ear, to rape me quickly. And a lot of the threats are coming, like I said, in this place. And by the way, I do talk about psychic attack, and one of the bums just ripped my chest. I have to laugh because black Nazis and the other dog turds, excuse my language, that's why there's a profanity warning. They like to portray themselves as big and brave. Not. Satan, they fell with Satan actually 13 years ago. And just like the bums are given unfair perks in America, because somebody's not white, and they get the job because they're housing. They're not white, so they get everything, or because they're drug addicts and alcoholics, so they get everything. And I've seen it work that way. And one of the whores is talking about. So what is this threat? And who are these people? These are retarded people that the government And by the way, I'm not all white. But let's see whose windows are open. So the black Nazi's second window open, second room, and then one of the whores on the third floor, she had her window open. She was threatening. Not seeing as much now. And so, I can hear, maybe she's visiting because I hear her possibly in someone else's apartment. So these ugly, and one of the whores is also threatening. Can you guess? Even though, now look at some of the people who live here. They're nothing. Well, anyway, one of the persons, she's playing commitment. And what is she? Sorry about the motion detector. she's a smelly prostitute with a personal problem so bad you can't even smell her through a wall without getting sick. They're playing boyfriend. So the ugly black Nazi freak and the other freaks are playing boyfriend. Nobody wants any of them. You've got ugly, retarded whites, blacks, and others. They're here. They're retarded, and nobody does want them. But they will always try to play false relationship games. And the government does give unfair perks to people, including if you're of color, certain color gets more perks than anyone else. There's another one that's second to that. And if you're anybody else, well, you might just starve. That's America. Well, just like America embraced people for not their real qualities, whoops, I keep doing that, such as they didn't embrace people that were intelligent as much as they did for people, that they wanted to give the perks to. Well, Satan chose those people because he knew they were inferior. So the crack whore, whether it's white, black, or in between, and the dirty black Nazi, and other like alcoholics, rapists, or whatever. Satan chose those people, all inferiors. And America was becoming retarded anyway. And then, the terrible gene pool and the influence on the genes, and then the pollution, the toxins in the water, food, and the environment, food, the preservatives, the alcoholism. Oh boy, retarded people. And so what you also have is sort of an artificial society where people who achieved things in this society, it wasn't because they were talented necessarily. It's just they were the right color. And maybe they have the 11 kids. Maybe it's a retarded crack whore, and she gets everything. And so that's how you retarded people. And you end up with the retarded people as the largest group in America. And I think Americans were taught, if they're a crack whore, they'll cover up the fact that you're insane if you're an alcoholic or drug addict. Think about that. Some of them actually will go around proudly playing, ooh, I have a dual diagnosis. Ooh, do you? Or, oh, those mental patients, and some person who's crazy as a loon. But their diagnosis is not so crazy. Why? Because it's an alcoholic. They'll hide it. Everybody will hide it for you. I'll be right back. Now, there's a lot of chest activity, chest tearing, ripping. There's been a lot of chakra attacking. In case you're wondering, and again, now you say you're talking about paranormal. Well, the thing is, what I want to import to you about the paranormal is that Satan chose inferior because he knew they would destroy everything. Just like America chose the inferior, I don't think that they chose for them to destroy everything. That's what's happening. Thought you'd want to know. And they're even trying to destroy not only the spirit world, which they did, but they're going to destroy everyone around the world as well. And these stinky black Nazis and the other morons, they're threatening every NATO country. And they're even planning wars. Try to tell people, nobody cares. Just like nobody cares about what's happening to me. Now, the people that are gang members, there's some that are camped out in an allegedly empty, janitor's room that sort of wraps around the left-hand side as you come in the front door. Getting tired, I apologize. I'll be right back. And people that work here, and they pretend nobody's down. Nobody's in that room terrorizing me. And, oh, and one of the whores, now, remember, and I've talked about it before, but it's important to note that these bums are like bonobo chimps. They cannot get their minds or hands out of their pants. That also extends to their drippy hands. And they've actually been entering my apartment since I've been here and smearing it with their dirty semen hands and their fecal fingers. I've actually found fecal on cookie packages, and they boasted about dumping fecal in the water and urinating in there. And they love to do that. They like to play with their own fecal and urine. It's a symbol of the Bloods and the Zetas, but it's also because Satanists, and they think it's a ceremony. They're very, very big, and other to pretend somebody's guilty who's to do with me. Like even Mr. Metro guy overlooks some stinky black whore, white whore. Oh, suddenly they're pretending to be government, and he's either ignoring them or he's in on it. Maybe there's a mailman. Maybe there's a fake nurse. Maybe there's a real nurse. And presto, they're there to kidnap you, and they're pretending to be you. And then finally they drive you over the edge where you could actually be committed. And it's funny, I saw a good site lately about that very thing, a false government, etc. By the way, my hands are bleached from people putting meth lab in my water and acid. 3 cops are on it, including one named Officer Bobby, that 2 gay security guards are affiliated with, and they come here even though they have no authority whatsoever. They pretend they do, and they pretend that they could drive me off or drag me off, and they threaten me, including from some window when they're, cracked out, drunk, drugged, but also that janitor. I'll be right back. Maggot bums was saying, oh, and we'll have sex after death. Is anyone going to have sex with them? Well, it's actually a rape, and we'll call the police. And oh, by the way, if you believe in psi, paranormal, coma, have you in a coma? So they threatened me with everything, including carving up my chest. Remember, the dirty, this is, I think, a dirty, smelly black Nazi doing that. Or is it a white moron this time? Well, it's a dirty, smelly white, isn't it? Oh, there's a couple of morons. See, none of them in the U.S. are normal, and they've ripped out a lot of chest chakra. And so, what I'm going to tell you, you'll hear, and no, it's not a terroristic. It's actually, you're going to hear me, and you're going to hear my emotions going off, and you'll hear me praying too. And they're all Satanists. Oh, and there's a whore that is in the janitor's room playing Lisa's Crazy with the manager. She's saying, you're going to write me a money order. Am I going to write a order? No, I'm not. In fact, we're going to be on the 4 o'clock news before that happens. Would you like to be on the 4 o'clock news, hooker? news hooker, because that's the way it's going to go down. 4 o'clock news, bitch. I'm not writing chance that my Bay police, anyway, if it's unusual. Police. At that point, I could actually call 911. A bum studio, you're this, yappity yap, mouth is flap, there's so keep this on, because I would like some sleep. And, it's good hours, and one bum is playing blah, blah, blah still. A camera to the window, which would be good. Then I'd have to remember to take the camera with me, because obviously you wouldn't want to leave it for retards, would you? So it's one more back up, but I will do that eventually. There are a couple little cameras out there, actually a little too fragile, and I watched a guy demo them on video. It doesn't say megapixel. Sometimes there's a different grading system with the cameras and resolution. These, if it does a fairly good job, I saw some of the cameras these days. Oh, it's a little different, or even definition, resolution on cameras and other devices. But anyway, I'm rambling. I think I'll try to go to sleep. And the head and chest. I'm talking about paranormal. Now you'll hear me cursing and kill him and blah, blah, blah. We can't really hear him. Well, I'll tell you what you can do, and I'll try to prop this up too, so that'd be nice. And I'll try to keep it propped up. I've been working on CameraFi very hard lately and